I want to send our thoughts and prayers to the kids, the families, the School of Oxford, and the tragedy. I can't even imagine sending my kids off to school and not coming home that way, and it sure makes it bigger than basketball. But everybody out there, I hope every Spartan sends its thoughts and prayers with them, to them. If you would have told me we'd be up 20 at home against Louisville, I would have been tickled to death. And, you know, it's I deserve a lot of blame for why we're turning the ball over, but God darn, if we step out of bounds 4 times, I don't know how I'm going to do a better job, but I'm going to do a better job of that. We actually, Max Christie and Malik Hall probably won us the game. Malik with his offense and some defense. And Max, you know, did an unbelievable job on lock, if you ask me. I mean, he didn't even get any shots, barely. I thought the defense that we played was phenomenal. At the end, they hit some shots, and that raised both their three-point percentage and their field goal percentage. And I don't know if we kind of let up or if they kind of made some plays, but we rebounded pretty well. We shot the ball well from the 3. Once we quit throwing the ball in and kicking it out, which we talk about morning, noon, and night. Shot pretty good from the free throw line, except for a couple misses late. You know, we had some steals. We did a pretty good job there, 10 steals. We had 20 assists on 23 baskets. We did a lot of good things, but those turnovers are just something I'm going to keep working on. So, questions. There were a couple other guys too, I should say. Tyson Walker getting 10 assists was very big. AJ, after really struggling the first half, I thought played very well the second half. You know, we got some things done, but it was a struggle in doing them, and some of that is them too. And they're pretty good defensively. They came at us, pressured us. I thought out-physicaled us, especially in the first half, and played better the second half. So, questions?
Tom, Malik had 8 points in a minute and a half. AJ was making good decisions with the ball. What did you see there in that stretch where you pulled away to get a lead?
You know, honestly, I mean, we talk to us point guards all the time about not taking it too deep and kicking out, not kicking in. And we did a poor job of that the first half and an excellent job of it the second half. And consequently, that's how you inside-out passes is how you shoot better from the 3. They're still having trouble getting Max the ball, but people are taking him away too. And so we tried to give it to him to handle a little bit more, and that works some, but they're also taking that away. So we'll just keep working. If he plays defense like he did, the way he can shoot it, the shots are going to come. So I thought AJ and Malik were big factors in this thing. I thought Tyson getting 10 assists was a big factor, but I thought our defense probably won us the game.
Tom, you mentioned about the turnovers. It seemed like they were coming in clusters, but there was also like long stretches of really good play for you guys. I mean, do you feel like that there were some moments that maybe showed you what this can be?
Well, yeah, I definitely think that, and it's hard to feel good when you turn it over 19 times when you work on it. But you are right. There was like 6 in a row. It seems like. You know, at one time in the UConn game, I think we had 11 out of 12 or 13 possessions. We turned it over. We started the second half with 4 turnovers and 2 fouls or 3 fouls. I mean, you know, somehow it's got to fall on me, so I'm going to take the blame for it. But I'm going to figure it out, because if we can do this with 19 turnovers, whether it's Kansas, whether it's Baylor, whether it's these guys, in other words, quality teams, just think what we're going to be able to do if we quit turning the damn ball over. It is frustrating, I'm sure, for our fans. It's frustrating probably for our players. It's definitely frustrating for the coach. But I thought our crowd really helped us tonight too. It seemed like old times, and I'm greatly appreciative of that.
Tom, back here, you talked last season and a little bit at the start of this season about slimming down the rotation, and you want to cut it down to 7, 8 guys. But then you've got Akins has a career game against Baylor, a good game tonight. Pierre's had a couple good minutes, UConn and tonight. How do you feel about those two, and where do you see them fitting into the rotation moving into Big Ten play?
Well, I see them fitting in. You know, I really do. I think what we're trying to do is run more. I mean, we did have, I don't know how many points on our fast break, 25-12. So we're scoring on a break, but that takes a lot of audience, so you got to bring more people in. I think one of the strengths of Purdue, if you look at them, they are Noah's Ark. You know, they're two of everything. And, you know, if we feel that if we can sub a little more, you know, Gabe sub be Pierre and you know, sub for Max would be Jaden, then maybe we could get a little more consistency and continuity, which I think would help our turnovers. But inside, you know, I didn't think Mark was very good early, and then I think he raised up too and had 12 rebounds, but I thought he got muscled around a little bit in there, which was disappointing. But if Malik could play like that, we got to get more out of Joey. We got an upside. We got pieces and we got an upside, but we got to get there too. Maybe some practice time now at home, a little consistency with a game every 3 days, 4 days, you know, where we can get on a routine a little bit would really help us. I say all that. We just beat a damn good team, you know, and I think we're all kind of, I wouldn't say sad about it. I think we're all kind of still questioning and wondering what we're doing.
A couple of questions. One on Malik Hall. Did your expectations for him continue to increase as you see like what he did against Loyola, and then in a night like tonight where he has a period where he takes over a little bit?
Yeah. You know, Malik is another guy. He's a real good player. What we're looking for out of him is consistency, you know. He is starting to play with some emotion, which has been a problem for him. You know, he's starting to play with some a little more passion in what he does. I mean, he's always had it, but he doesn't say much. Now maybe being a captain has helped that a little bit. I thought today he was really ready. I told him before the game, you know, that I thought he's practiced well. And so Malik is going to be a big key for us, and especially until we get some other guys playing a little bit better. But, you know, and even Marty went in there and did some really good things in that short period of time he plays. So our subs are going to be important. You know, Malik isn't really a sub. He's a 6 starter. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. And the same with AJ. I mean, I think we got 2 guys there that could have started and may start again sometime. But we got a solid 7, and then we've got a couple guys that we're trying to bring along.
And then with Max and he doesn't look, at least from my view, frustrated out there. Like he looks like he's not forcing things or doing. I mean, are you seeing from him frustration, or is you just see a maturity among his age that?
Well, I think he's a little frustrated. I would be if I was him, but I do see an incredible maturity. It's amazing what he's done as far as, you know, 90% of the scorers let their scoring dictate their defense, and he hasn't done that one time all year. For a freshman, that's almost unbelievable. If you watch him, I mean, he is in lockdown mode, and we just got to get that offense going a little bit and figure out some things. And I think one of them would be getting our point guards to penetrate, kick out a little bit more. And one of them, we might put him at the point some, which we did tonight.
Is that part of what makes you wonder about the ceiling of this team, knowing what his offense is potentially at?
Oh, I mean, I know this will sound crazy, but I still think him and Hauser are my 2 best shooters. And someday it's going to come. It comes in practice. And, you know, Max's is a little different. In a game, he doesn't get the looks Joey's got because people are putting full attention on him. And he will and we will figure out how to do a little better job. But I'm really proud of Max. I mean, you're right. He's not frustrated. I mean, I think he's like anybody would be, you know. But boy, UConn, they put a best defensive player I've seen on him, and Baylor did the same thing, and so he's getting a lot of attention, and that's probably opening up for some other people too. I mean, Gabe played pretty well the first half, you know. Didn't play as well the second half, but we'll have to see why when we see the film. I mean, we were running good, and we just seemed like other guys were getting shots.
Tom, you had 6 guys with at least 9 points tonight. It seems like anybody in your rotation is capable of being a double-digit scorer. How much has that been kind of an asset for this team, that balance?
It's an asset, and it's a little bit of a problem, you know, because you kind of say who you're going to, you know. But it is an asset. I mean, anytime you got different guys that can score it. I mean, I think every one of our starters could score 15 points. I think 2 or 3 of our subs could, and here's Jaden. I mean, Jaden is he's going to be electric because he is an athlete. That guy is smart as a whip, and he just understands things. You know, as he continues to play, can guard the world. He's going to be I think he's going to be a hell of a player here, to be honest with you.
Tom, Tyson and AJ had 14 assists tonight between the two of them against 4 turnovers, 6 steals between the two of them. Was this the point guard play you kind of expected to get as the season started, and how do you keep this going with those 2 guys?
Well, that's a $1 million question. It really wasn't the first half, you know. I mean, Tyson played pretty good. I didn't think AJ did, and we talked to him at halftime about it. And, you know, we just seemed to go faster. You know, everybody can do things. It's like we took a shot after getting an offensive rebound with 1.5 minutes left, and the person said, well, I was open. Well, I know you're open, but there's things you got to do, you know. It's kind of figuring out the game, and I think we're all going a little too fast. You know, Gabe had 2 or 3 traveling calls on the break again. Everybody's got to slow down a little bit. I mean, you want to play quick but don't hurry is I guess the saying, and we've got to do a better job of that. But God, we practice that all the time. We practice going hard on the break. We just haven't put it all together yet. But we're 8 games in. We had the 3 games in a row, which means you don't practice at all then. If you told me we'd be, what are we, 6-2 after the schedule we've played, I think I would have taken that, you know, or more. And yet I'm not very satisfied because of the turnovers and the way we seem to find ways to, as you said, have great stretches and then have a cluster of bad plays. So happy where we are as far as our record, not happy where I am as far as our play. And but excited that I do believe what I see in practice, if we can correct just one thing, we don't have to even correct our shooting, just correct one thing, I think we're going to be a lot better. And that's going to happen. I want it to happen sooner. Fans want it to happen sooner. Media wants it to happen sooner. And this is one time we're all on the same page.
Tom, the point guard's averaging 3.5 to 1 assist to turnover, but you had 4 wings who each had 3 turnovers. How frustrating is that, and how important was it to rebound the way you did against a team that more than doubled up Maryland on the boards?
Yeah, I mean, they just killed Maryland on the boards. You're right, and we don't even talk about that, or I didn't. That's my fault, but it is frustrating, you know. I mean, think about our wings. I think Gabe had 3 travels. Oh, Jaden and Max, and a step out of bounds. Jaden and Max somebody had 2 step out of bounds. I don't know. I'm gonna. And Joey, the same thing, and his weren't step out of bounds. I don't think. They want to put one of them dog fences in, and when they step out of bounds, they get zapped. And although then I get sued for that, so I can't do that. I'll just have to, I don't know, I'll have to find a way, and I will find a way, I promise you. But that is frustrating, you know, because I don't know how you go to practice and say don't step out of bounds, but I'm gonna see how it works.
You've mentioned about Joey and trying to get more out of him, and that's been kind of a constant theme. How much of it right now is him being in his own head, and how much of it is just the general frustration on top of all of it?
Yeah, you know, when a guy doesn't play well or doesn't shoot well, especially if you're a shooter, that's what's really amazing about Max. He hasn't let his shooting get to him. I think everybody wants to, like I said, everybody wants to try to do a little more than they. Everybody wants to be somebody different, you know. One of the cool things about Xavier, he wanted to be Xavier, you know, and I think, you know, some guys want to put on the floor more, some guys want to do this more, some guys want to do that more, and it is frustrating for Joey. I mean, if you watch them shoot in practice, the guy shoots the lights out, you know, and so I'm sure he's frustrated by that, and then tries to force some things and just make some plays because he's not into it, and he's going to have to fight through that. You know, we're going to have to help him get through that. Still think he's a valuable member of our team, and you know, I think last year our own fans hurt him. Sometimes the media hurt him. I mean, we got to understand that some kids are not as able to handle all the abuse. A couple of them left because of it. So I would just say that let me coach the guys, and you guys write about the team, but you never know what's going on with each individual player. And most people out there sure as hell don't know what's going on with each individual player because they're not with them all the time. I mean, I love Joey Hauser. I really do, and I think the day's going to come, and we're just going to keep working at it till it comes. I know what his skill level is. I know how frustrated he is. Max isn't frustrated. I think Joey is a little frustrated. I'm glad he's frustrated. You know, it's the guys that aren't frustrated that, you know, that don't care. I'm glad he's frustrated. We just got to work through it. So we will. And I think if I'm going to press on one thing for a couple guys, AJ, taking it too deep all the time, you know. Yeah, you make a layup, but then you have a couple turnovers. So it's just going to take some time. It's not a finished product, and if you look around the country, I study it every day. There's a lot of teams turning the ball over. A lot of teams aren't shooting very good. We shot a lot better, so a lot of encouraging things tonight. It's just those pockets of things that make it look absurd.
One final one in the back. Natalie.
As you said earlier, you know, if you knew you were waking up this morning knowing that you'd have 20 on Louisville, you would be pleased, and that's exactly what happened tonight. So just, you know, knowing that you can do that against a team, even with the amount of turnovers that you had, and just knowing that there is tremendous upside with this group, does that give you more confidence just going forward, knowing what this team can do against, you know, those top 5 schools that you may face?
You know, when we get into our meeting, probably tonight, with my staff, that's exactly what we'll talk about, you know. I mean, like, if it seems like I'm down, I'm not down. I'm a little perplexed and frustrated because I think from a coaching standpoint, I mean, I've always stressed that, you know, you play as hard as anybody in the country. You're as physical as anybody. We're not quite as physical. We do play hard. And then it looks undisciplined when you turn the ball over, you know. I guess it's the football version of penalties, you know. If you have a million penalties, you look undisciplined. And I don't think they're undisciplined. I just think they're trying to do too many things that they can't do. They're trying to go at a speed they can't go at. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, that's because you're running so much. Gabe's happen on the break. Very few others are happening on the break. They're happening in the half court. I mean, you don't step out of bounds because of the break, you know. So, yeah, I think there's a positive upside. I've been saying it all year. I think we played some great teams. I mean, I think we've played 5 really good teams and 1 on the road. And somehow that's going to help us, you know. And we got a pretty tough game against Toledo coming up, and then we start the Big Ten season. But at least there's going to be some separation between each one. And I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that I hope we don't turn the ball over, but I really hope people, instead of worried about my turnovers, worry about the people in Oxford, and we'll go from there, right? Thanks.